Kanata and Barrhaven are both family friendly, both suburban, and both popular. So why are buyers choosing one over the other? It's not just price, and once I show you the difference, you'll know exactly where you should be looking. Hey, I'm Dwayne Desveaux, your Ottawa Realtor with eXp Realty Brokerage. Quick thing before we get into this, I'm not reading a neighborhood comparison I pulled off a website. I've actually lived in Kanata Lakes first, and then I got posted to Colorado Springs for 4 years with the Canadian Armed Forces. And I come back to Ottawa and I purchased in Bridlewood. Two different Kanata neighborhoods, two completely different reasons. And I'll tell you both stories because I think they'll help you figure out which side of this debate you're actually on. So let's get into it. Quick lay of the land. Kanata's on the west end of Ottawa, home to the tech corridor, Ericsson, Nokia, Calian, and it's got a real range. Older established pockets like Bridlewood and Beaverbrook on one end and Kanata Lakes on the other, which is some of the nicest real estate in the city. We'll come back to that. Barrhaven is on the southwest. It's newer, faster growing, over 100,000 residents. It's got Half Moon Bay, Stonebridge, Chapman Mills. And if Kanata is Ottawa's tech suburb, then Barrhaven is Ottawa's family suburb. According to the Ottawa Real Estate Board, the average residential sale price across Ottawa in March 2026 is $692,000. Both Kanata and Barrhaven sit within that range, but what that money gets you in each community is where the story gets interesting. So Kanata Lakes, I loved it. Genuinely bigger homes, wider streets, and a sense of space that's hard to explain until you're standing on it on a Sunday morning with a cup of coffee. Worth every penny for the right buyer, but if your budget takes you there, go look at it before you make any decisions. You can thank me later. Then I got posted to Colorado Springs. 4 years, beautiful place. Not Ottawa, but beautiful. When the posting message came through to come back, I did what every military member does. I started researching Ottawa real estate from like 2,000 kilometers away at 11 o'clock at night, Central Time. If you've done that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I looked at Kanata Lakes again, obviously still great, but this time I had kids at a specific age. Schools were suddenly the #1 priority, and everything I was looking for started through that lens. I ended up in Bridlewood, and here's why. Bridlewood put my kids within walking distance of both Catholic and public school options. Great schools, well-reviewed, walkable from the front door, and that was the whole decision. Not the square footage, not the kitchen, the schools, and the fact that my kids could walk to them. And here's what I want you to take from that. When you're relocating, especially with kids, you think you know your priority until you're actually standing in the neighborhood at 7:45 in the morning, imagining your child walking to school in February in Ottawa, and then you figure out real fast what actually matters. I'll come back to schools in a minute because Barrhaven has a strong answer there as well. But first, the commute story, because this one I see play out constantly with my clients. A couple comes to me, both professionals. One works downtown, one works out in the Kanata Tech Park. 2 kids, a dog. Their budget was around $750,000. They come in dead set on Barrhaven. Their friends just bought there. They love the new builds. They've already picked out a neighborhood on Google Maps. So we go. We look at the 3 houses. Beautiful homes, great backyards. The kids are already claiming the bedrooms, and they're excited. Then I ask the question. I say, which one of you is going to be driving downtown every day? The wife raises her hand. I just let that sit there for a second because that's what nobody tells you before you fall in love with Barrhaven. If you're commuting downtown 5 days a week, you're looking at 30 to 40 minutes each way on a good day. That's potentially 300 hours a year in a car. And I'm not saying Barrhaven is wrong. It's absolutely not. I'll just show you exactly who it is perfect for. But for that couple, we ended up in Morgan's Grant in Kanata. She's 7 minutes from the transitway. And the last time I talked to them, they were completely settled in their new home. The right neighborhood isn't always the most popular one. It's the one that fits how you actually live. So what does Kanata have going for it beyond my own story? Well, #1, jobs. If you work in the tech or anywhere in the West End, you're cutting your commute significantly. People underestimate how much that matters until they're actually doing it. Also, housing variety, entry level in the older pockets, mid-range in Bridlewood and Morgan's Grant, and of course, prestige in Kanata Lakes. You can find your price point and stay in the same community as life changes. An honest con, traffic on Arch Road in Hazeldean during rush hour is genuinely rough. I drove it for years, but in real time, not Google Maps time, so there is a difference. All right, now let's talk about Barrhaven, and I want to be genuinely fair here. Newer housing stock, most of it was built within the last 20 years, modern layout, better insulation, less maintenance right out of the gate. It's a real value, especially when you're coming off a posting and you don't want to deal with surprise. Schools in Barrhaven include John McCrae, Longfield's Davidson Heights. They have strong reputations. The French immersion options are walkable from larger parts of the community. And if the school walkability story I told about Bridlewood resonated with you, Barrhaven has the same answer in certain pockets. Over 80 parks in the community. It's built for families and you feel it when you're there. An honest con with Barrhaven is if you're commuting downtown daily, you're looking at 30 to 40 minutes each way. That's the commute story I just told you playing out in a different postal code. Factor it in before you fall in love with a listing. Here's how I actually help people land on one or the other. Kanata is probably the neighborhood if you work in tech or the West End. If you want housing options across a wide range of price points or walkability to schools, it's a top priority. Especially look at Bridlewood. Slight bias, I own that, but Barrhaven is probably your neighborhood if you want newer construction, your commute isn't downtown, and you're relocating, and you need a complete community where everything is within arm's reach the day you arrive. And for military families coming through BGRS or SERVA, Barrhaven is often the first place I take people. New city kids in tow, need to be settled fast. It's set up exactly for that life. Right now, Ottawa buyers have more breathing room than they've had in years. And spring is shaping up to be a meaningful window for people who are ready to act. According to the Ottawa Real Estate Board, both neighborhoods are well positioned. The question is just which one fits how you actually live and how you think you will live when you're scrolling listings on a Saturday morning. If you're trying to figure it out, first-time homebuyer upsizing, or you just got a posting message and you're staring at a map of Ottawa at 11 p.m. wondering where to start, drop a comment below or hit the link in the description and let's talk. No pressure, no pitch, just straight conversation. I can totally help you out. And if you want the full individual breakdown on Kanata or Barrhaven separately, those videos are coming. Subscribe so you don't miss them, and I'll see you in the next one.